Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
I suck, you suck, I suck at Call of Duty.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and today I'm joined by
Marcus Hurley
and
Will.
So we're still in lockdown, we're still playing lots of games, but the game of the year has been released now. You even got it a bit early, didn't you, Marcus?
I did. I'm surprised I haven't finished it by now, but it's more like not wanting to finish a succulent meal. You know, and you got this steak that's been like fucking aged for ages, and you don't want to wolf it down like a cheap, dirty burger. It's the best analogy I could use.
So just to be clear, are we talking about Resi 3?
Yeah. Oh, mate, don't get me started on Resi 3. I wanted to get that, but I'm a little disappointed. But anyway, we'll get to that at some point. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah. Awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I was a bit worried about the combat from the demo because it's a sort of mash square to attack kind of thing. But switching between the characters, the combat dynamic, Jesus fucking Christ. I've not played an RPG that's like that. Don't get me wrong, it's still a JRPG. There's still like the whole item management thing, equipment, materia for spells and summons and all that sort of stuff. There's essentially like a sphere grid like Final Fantasy 12. And there's there's sort of like there's elements of a gambit system as well where you can give the others orders. So you don't necessarily have to control them. You can just pop in, let them do something, and then carry on being whatever character you choose to be. And it's fluid. You can literally start attacking something as one of the characters, hit the D-pad button, flip to another one. Your character you were controlling is still carrying on the action, and you get in, and you can chain stuff up. It is smooth as fuck, and I can't believe that I'm playing a game that's essentially it's kind of like you rip out the turn-based element of a JRPG, and you push in something like Devil May Cry as the combat, or something like that. Not necessarily as mental, although it can be.
Suggest, so Final Fantasy 15 I thought was quite advanced in the combat side, and I think this is a further twist on this. Would it be almost worth suggesting that this is Final Fantasy 16 and it's using the story from 7?
This is, well, that's the thing. I don't really know, because the guy who worked on the combat for this, I don't know whether he did the 15 combat, but he worked on Kingdom Hearts 2. Which is a Square project. So the idea of, free roaming character over the shoulder and able to lock onto enemies and all that sort of thing, that's where it's come from. So it's basically almost like the Kingdom Hearts engine for combat, which at its core, but you just put it into something that just looks magnifico.
Bella.
Yeah. It does remind me of 15, but I'm not going to lie, the characters I'm more attached to. So for me, it's like 15 bonus.
That's the thing. I'm saying it's 16, but reusing 7.
Yeah, I would say.
Interesting.
But yeah, no, the story itself is already gone off on tangents.
So how big's the game, Marcus? Because I know it's a third of the overall story, but a story is not a game, and a game is not a story.
I don't actually know how big this game is. I'm guessing it can be.
Well, I saw 30 to 70 hours.
Yeah,
on how long to beat.
I would say 30 minimum, probably.
But so it's like there's plenty of extra stuff there if you want to mine it for all it's worth. But
it has a new game plus feature as well, so you can replay chapters and go. I think you can go through it again with what you've got, which is a great idea. There's also, I've heard this before. There's also a level cap, so you don't go into the next ones. So it caps at level 50, because obviously when you go into the next one, if you
need to start at level 50 or it'll be rubbish.
If you're level 100, it's going to be like, well, where do you go from there? You don't want to be like level 400 by the time the game finishes.
Oh, that's going to be quite an interesting one, isn't it? Whether part 2 or whatever they call it when it comes out, whether you can just start on part 2 with an auto-leveled character, or presumably you'll always be able to import your saves. But it would be quite interesting.
I think the reason why it's taken so long is they must have taken that into account. I'm pretty certain that all your data will carry over, because otherwise what would be the point?
How are they going to handle that? Because what happens if you get a PlayStation 5 instead of an Xbox, whatever it is?
Well, that's going to be your fault, isn't it? Frankly.
Yeah. To be honest, this isn't a PlayStation exclusive either. It will come out on other systems.
No, it's not even on Xbox, is it?
No, it will be.
What am I thinking?
It will be. It's been released.
Timed exclusive.
In about a year's time or so. Yeah. They've basically done a reverse Lara Croft on it.
But arguably, if you do that, if you played the first part on the PlayStation, I think you'd just have to have the pre-built character if you switched machine, if you went to PC or if you went to Xbox, I guess. Anyway, it's probably less important than that.
I reckon if you... No, I don't think they'll give you that luxury, because they'll do it in parts. I think that, well, the PC, it won't matter because it'll all be the same platform. PS5 is going to be backwards compatible with PS4. So I reckon,
but it's if you played part 1 on the Xbox and part 2 on the PlayStation 5.
Well, I think that's just your problem, mate.
Yeah.
I think that's down to that. Yeah. Because it'll be like trying to swap over your Xbox 360 game saves for like a PS3 or something.
So do you know how far through you are then? It's kind of hard to tell.
But you chapter 9. I think I'm probably about just over a third, maybe halfway through it. I reckon. Okay.
And how long do you reckon you've put in?
I can't remember how many hours now, to be honest. Gosh.
Some.
Yeah, a few. I found a part where I was doing it's a bit I literally was, it's gobsmacking, because I found a part where you saw enemies that spawn and I went, I want to get this material up a little bit. So I put another 2 hours into like return combat whilst sort of sorting stuff out. So I've started padding it out a little bit, but only because I've been trying to get more to grips with the combat as more people join your party with the story as well.
Gotcha,
so it kind of makes you want to do that, because when someone joins, they can run around doing their thing. You kind of go, how do they work? Because obviously Cloud is the sword guy, very DMC. You've got Tifa, who's combat, so you literally run up to him and she just starts a barrage of fisticuffs and uppercuts and everything. And each character's got a unique ability. So she's got like a dive kick that takes an absolute shit ton off them, but you can chain it into attacks. And she's got something that it's like a charge ability. They've all got unique abilities to them.
Gotcha.
And as you pick up more weapons, each weapon has a unique ability. But the cool thing, they seem to have been improving on the previous game, because in the previous game you upgrade, and like most games, you start off with a starter weapon and you upgrade. In this, each weapon has its own skill tree, which makes it almost unique. So weapons, from the look of it, they don't get outclassed, because you can tailorize each one how you want. And
so it's more about the play style.
Exactly. And the thing is also, the weapon's unique ability, when you use it enough, you gain a proficiency. So then you can go back, if you want to be a purist and have them with the original weapons, they'll still have the abilities of all the later weapons.
Cool.
So you could literally do a Buster Sword run. So you could keep it sort of canon to the posters and everything. You can try out all the newer weapons and then go back once you've gained enough proficiency, because each time you level up, you gain skill points to assign for the weapons, and all of the weapons get skill points. So it kind of allows for a lot of freedom, which is I'm really surprised at. I was not expecting that from this. I would have been quite happy if it was mostly kind of on rails and the story was really good, it looked great, and it wasn't a complete screw up. But there is some really nice quality of life bits in there that I'm seeing. Like when you complete a quest, you've got an option to go back immediately to the person you got the quest from to complete it, rather than having to run back through most of a map.
That would be good.
there's some really, really good little bits. It feels like they're trying out things, and it might be a new direction for the next one that comes out. It really does feel like it. But yeah, story is still, I know the story because I've known it for 15 odd years. And I know all the main beats of the story, but there is so much in between. And because everyone, who worked on the game already knows the storyline, the main storyline. It feels a bit like Game of Thrones, only they didn't get a guess at what George R. R. Martin wanted. They know the entire thing, so they can adapt it properly.
They got
with
the
all of the extra lore that's come, all the extra lore that's come out. Because there's been about 2 or 3 other games linked to it that have come out, and so it's little bits like that have fleshed out the storyline more. I mean, there's some really amazing touches, like basically the main character. There's a part where I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a part where he has like a tragic backstory. Something happened in his village, and after the first mission. I know, it's atypical.
You've recalled to me immediately in South Park the origin story in the fractured butthole. Is, you saw your mum, screw your dad. That's the horrifying origin story. You saw your parents having sex,
but not in that way. But it's just, and there's bits that are kind of almost like creepy, and the music and the atmosphere. There's a part where you're sort of walking through a town and he starts wigging out a bit, and you turn this corner and next minute half of it's like a burning village and the other half is the town that you're in still, and you're like, oh shit, what the fuck is going on? And you already see the main protagonist of the game and you're like, what? Is he there? We're not ready to fight him. It's kind of like seeing that trailer where you see Finn going up against Kylo Ren and you're like, he's not ready. Why the fuck would he be going up against the main protagonist? It's that sort of moment. You're like, what the hell? And then you realise it's in his head. It's in his head. But there are some really good bits, like the I don't know, I've read somewhere where people talk about the voice acting cast, but I genuinely think the voices for the characters are perfect. Like, there's proper sassy dialogue in there and stuff, and some bits of it are really good. There's a bit where you have to go around doing like a little subplot, and Cloud, the problem with Cloud, he wants to be cool. He's this guy who wants to be a cool mercenary, and he's all cold and calm and trying to be. But there's a bit where you have to go and collect these filters, and you can see him like starting to slump in his arm, and it's almost like he's mirroring the gamer, going, oh god, I've got to do this sub-quest, and he's sinking further and further, going, oh, for God's sake, kind of thing. And there are so many little dialogue quips during battle as well, like, you know, when you're going to finish someone off, you'll go, no chance, and stuff like that, and it just makes you feel like you're a badass. And the fact that you've got,
I'd rather he did Arnie style one-line throwaways. That's the way to do it.
There are some really weird ones like that, and it's like he basically goes, "It's over," and he just like will do a move just as you're going to do it, and it's just like, and it's not guaranteed. They'll say different things, and if you get knocked out, Barrett, the guy with a gun, goes, "Ain't you supposed to be some shit hot soldier dude?" and stuff like that. So you get like proper snarky remarks. They've done it so well, it's ridiculous. It feels like you're taking part in this game, and it's a bit like a movie stroke interactive experience stroke combat / adventure game as well. So that's why I'm a very happy bunny. And I can't wait for the next bits. Don't know when I'll be getting a PS5 though, but it's definitely.
Do you know any idea when they're releasing the second part of this?
I wouldn't be surprised if they're already working on it.
Obviously, yeah.
No, but I mean, like, I don't know when PS5 is going to get launched, but I reckon it'll be pretty soon, not long after that, because they've got the engine nailed down. But if anything, I reckon they've tuned it down for PS4, simply because of the scale of what I'm looking at on some things.
My gut instinct would be about 18 months. They don't want it to go off cold. They're going to need time. But they've got the engine, they've got the voice actors, they know the story. Well. Yeah. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Is it fair to do DLC before just releasing the rest of the fucking story?
Yeah.
Because you've got Dirge of Cerberus, which is about one of the characters, and you've got Crisis Core, which is like a prequel.
I just, and if you would wonder, should they finish the story? Should they get all three parts out
they'll
first?
Concentrate mainly on the main one because people will want that.
Yeah.
I think
you're talking about add-ons to the original game, right? Yeah, they're probably not canon.
No, they weren't. They are canon. They're genuinely. They were genuinely. This is what I'm saying. This is a reboot.
It'll be interesting to see if you see that stuff referred to.
But that's the thing.
In there.
It feels like a reboot, but I think it's a reboot taking into account more information than the original game when it came out. So this is why I likened it to the expanded universe. This is the equivalent of Disney making Force Awakens. I know we're talking games, but it's Force Awakens, but as a reboot of A New Hope.
Yeah.
Because there are things hinted at that I know that aren't anything to do with the actual game, but from comics, animated movies, everything that have been done by Square since then.
Yeah, and they can bring that in however they want, really.
It hints at a lot of it. So I'm thinking, fucking hell, they're not padding it. It's not filler. It's a shit ton more canon that's existed.
Yeah.
And
basically what they're doing is they're almost like taking that original game and creating like an entire franchise out of it.
Yes, yeah.
I suppose my main question
Which it
would
already
be
was, though. That's the thing. They're kind of bringing the whole franchise in-house in one title, spanning 3 discs, I think.
Okay, so for someone who's never played Final Fantasy VII, or 8, or 9, or 10, or whatever, maybe never played before, you're saying there's a lot of canon and, a lot of references back. Someone going in who's never played a Final Fantasy game before, describe it.
Well, this one.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing.
What is the game?
The game, you're basically, it follows a mercenary called Cloud who joins a bunch of eco warriors stroke terrorists, depending on what side you go on, who basically are going up against an evil corporation who is sucking the planet dry of, Mako, which is basically like the life stream or oil from the planet. But rather than being oil, it's like living energy, like kind of thing.
Mana.
And they use it to power everyone and give everyone a quality of life. So basically, it's a bunch of people going up against something like Shell.
So oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if oil could be used for everything, like Mako's like the power source of everything.
Right. Okay.
So, but also he's what's termed as a soldier, which is like a genetically enhanced individual. A soldier, but they get infused. Soldier. Yeah, they get infused with Mako, so his eyes have got like a weird element to them and stuff like that. And basically the story is he goes to join this thing to try and be a hero in awe of the greatest war hero that ever existed, which is the protagonist Sephiroth, which is a scary cold dude with a. I kid you not.
The antagonist.
Yeah, the antagonist. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Protagonist.
Semantics police.
Yeah, no. Correction as standard. Just the crazy guy you see on a lot of stuff walking through the flames with a big trench coat and a huge, ridiculous Nodachi katana. And that's basically the story is, without giving anything more away, how they're going up against this corporation and what this guy has to do with it. And then there's like a bigger, deeper problem and you realise why this guy's doing what he's doing. So this guy is just evil, but evil with a maniacal purpose. And then you have to deal with all of the corporate bullshit as well, and all of the crazy fuckers and all of the mechs and all the shit they throw at you because you're part of an eco-terrorist group and this company want to bury you.
Groovy.
That sums up the basic core of the story. But there's a whole lot more that goes on and stuff. Not bad for 1993.
Yeah. So, and I guess you're recruiting various characters along the way.
Well, you meet them as part of the story and stuff as well, and you don't necessarily recruit them, but they join the cause, or you beat them into submission and they join you, or they just decide they're going to join you anyway because you've helped them out because story, plot, mission, whatever, typical sort of video game stuff. But each character in the original was pretty much unique, and that's what made it fun.
And how many do you have in your party at once?
Only 3 at once.
Okay.
But I can't see this working with more than 3 because of the switching. I imagine if you have, at one point you've got
3's a good number. Normally,
I think there are about 10 main characters in this game. 9 or 10 main characters. So you can't really have them all running around doing batshit stuff and then switching between them all. That would just be insane. That would be like an MMORPG and it would just be mental. But
yeah, no, in most RPG scenarios, you need someone to take the damage, someone to dish it out, and someone to heal up.
You can already see
if you
like
can
from
cover
the
all those
abilities.
bases.
Yeah. And certain ones have got certain abilities, like the guy with the gun arm, he can hit targets from far. He's the range attacker, but he's not just stuck to that, but he also seems to be the tank of the group as well. So he can soak up a lot of damage, and I've just unlocked an ability called Lifesaver, where he takes damage from someone else. And a lot of these were, I think they were originally materia, so they were like, options that you can fit into things to give them abilities, whereas now they're actually just weapon abilities. I think it used to be called cover, where the character would dive in front of another one and take that damage for that turn. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy how they've reworked a lot of it, and they've added in a lot more shit. Like, there's an auto-cure option and stuff, so that the other characters going around being essentially gambits, like Final Fantasy XII, they would cure each other, as long as you're not controlling that character. So they've kind of learned a lot from the rest of the series, and they kind of bring in, it feels like the best of it to this. Because it just feels so natural. Like, the only gripe I have is you have to keep attacking to get access to your items and sort of magic and abilities. But I think that's only a challenge option. I think I mentioned it in a previous podcast. But I think it's also a harken back to the idea that it's turn-based. So you have to wait for the ATB bar to go up, and the more you attack, it goes up quicker. So you get 2 bars, and then you keep attacking the thing, you get access to one, you can let both go up, and then you can do an item and then a spell, and then you attack more, and then whatever. And I think that's kind of like a callback to the original fact that it was turn-based.
Yeah.
Because if you could just spam all of it instantly, you'd be way too overpowered, I think.
Yeah. See, my last experience of Final Fantasy was 12 on the Switch.
Yeah.
And my issue with that was that I found like a lot of the dungeony areas a bit bland, and just like repeats of the same mobs a lot. Like, I mean, when you're playing this game, does it feel like each location is unique? Well,
that's the thing. Speaking of locations, there is when you played the original, it was kind of like an isometric or top-down view mostly of most places, and you kind of go from top of the map down. In typical kind of, it's a pre-rendered area, and your 3D little sprite with big blocky arms would go from one point to another. But every now and then the camera would shift, so it's kind of like the old Resident Evil games, where it's static camera, but sometimes there'll be at an angle, and you'll go from the front of the frame to the back of the frame, and then you go to the next part, and it'll load up the next part. So there was no way of seeing how an area really looked. And I'm glad you said that, because I'd forgotten. That was the one thing that made my jaw drop. When you go to the slums, because essentially it's kind of like a Battle of an Angel Alita setup, where you've got Midgar's a 2-level city. You've got these massive plates, like a giant, one of the characters' jokes is like a pizza. You've got these plates divided into sort of sectors, and the people who live above it, and it all looks like a normal city. In fact, it looks like a cross between London, New York, and lots of other bits. You've got like red phone boxes and stuff, and it's nice to see it actually realised, and be able to look around, like spin the camera around and actually see this world, because you never really got a sense of it in the original game. That was one thing you never ever got a sense of. But then going down underneath the slums, when you're in the slums, it's kind of like a shantytown kind of thing, where it's like almost like Resident Evil 5, where you're kind of like, corrugated iron buildings and stuff, and some of them made from concrete and all these sort of bits. But you look up and you can see the plate of the city above you. And that was one thing that I never thought about when you're playing the original game. I literally was spinning the camera going, I'm in the slums, this looks really cool, the neon lights and stuff, and I looked up and I just went, holy fuck, that's the city above. And up until that point, it hadn't dawned on me that that's what they would see. And
so what is it? Is it all one? Is it like you're actually looking into the level above?
You're looking up at the bottom of these plates, and they've got these massive lamps underneath that help to simulate extra daylight. Otherwise, there'd be constant shadow. Sorry, my throat's going a bit dry.
Oh, okay.
But it's just mental. I recommend like maybe just check a video on how it looks, or just a screen grab. Well, chuck a few on. But it's just one of those things where if you're playing it, you kind of go, oh, that's really cool. And that's the thing about the game. It doesn't feel you need to be nerdy to know what everything is. The story is done in such a way that it just feels like you're playing a game. Because believe me, there are a shit ton of people that are excited about this game that have never played the original. And probably never will. But there is still a hell of a lot of hype for it. Because the story is so weird and it's just so fucking bizarre where it leads to in all of the characters and stuff like that. That's why I'm glad they're doing a remake, because there's another chance at doing what I feel is one of the better stories and characters from the whole series. In terms of the enemies are batshit as well. I mean, for Christ's sake, one of the enemies is a haunted house. It's literally a monster that's crawled inside of a house and decided to just lure people and murder them. And you've got like demon, from what I remember from the original, you've got demon bikers, flying fish, weird eyeball type floaty things that look like they'd be in the water and stuff. And I was worried it would get sanitized, kind of like a lot of the enemies in 12, where they'd just be generic kind of things. But no, the enemies are still flipping weird in this, and I'm really happy. So they've basically ran it all through a slightly more realistic engine. He's still got his crazy anime hair, but they've kind of made it a little bit more Western, which is good. But yeah,
cool.
I think they've done well.
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's
Glad
move
you're
on.
enjoying it, mate.
Let's move on. But I think it's definitely, if anyone's thinking of buying it, I definitely think it's worth a buy. Maybe if you're not sure, wait till it goes down a bit, because it's already sold 3.5 million or something like that already, I think. Which isn't bad, but it's no Spider-Man, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's early days.
Yeah.
It's early days, so...
But yeah,
and I'm sure people
it's worth a
if things continue as they are, I'm sure people are going to run out of things to play sooner rather than later. So,
I just think it's so well done. It's such a, I haven't even talked about the graphics, because the graphics just speak for themselves when you see screenshots and stuff. And there's like a bike sequence where you're on this motorbike fending off soldiers and stuff like that. And it's just, there's so many bits. And these all would have been like mini game bits in the original. You know, it's like, oh, this is this stage. But they've somehow managed to fit a lot more into this third segment, maybe. In fact, who knows how long the story's going to be. But yeah, anyway. I'm loving it.
Cool.
I'm loving it.
I'm sure this isn't the last we've heard about this game. So,
yeah, I'll probably just record them privately from now on and just talk in the dark room.
No, it'll be good to hear your updates and your thoughts as you get to it, and once you finished it or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, the boss battles alone feel epic. Genuinely, the music. It's like, there's no other term for it, but it feels like you are literally going the fuck in. Like, you'll get a cutscene, the guy will be taunting you or something like that. This boss will come up and the music just ramps up and this score just goes in and it's in front of you and you just run at this fucker. And you're just like, ah! It's just like, yeah. Yeah, God. Anyway, yeah, carry on.
Awesome sauce. What have you been playing, Will?
I can't find anything to get my teeth into properly. I'm jealous of Marcus, I must admit. And I might have to pick it up, but I just don't believe that I would be as excited and enthralled. As much as I enjoy a Final Fantasy game, it's not something I've ever gotten particularly passionate about. I play them. But in my case, I restarted a campaign on Divinity 2. I've been looking for comfort. I restarted a campaign on Divinity 2. I thought I'd go with the two-person team, the lone wolf approach, where it levels you up. Got bored. Nah.
I've been playing that with 4 other people for the first time and having a whale of a time.
Oh, it's a lovely game, but unfortunately I've already completed it and been close to completing it several times. I've had too many playthroughs. That's the trouble. But I'm looking for this nostalgia. I reinstalled Fallout 76 actually with the latest Wastelanders update, and you know what?
Oh yeah.
I haven't had a lot of time with it. I've gotten to the first place, the first bar with humans in it. You know, starting from scratch, there are people in the wasteland again, and it feels like a Fallout game. And your charisma stat finally actually does something again because you're having conversations. And
what was it for before?
I have no idea.
Maybe they left it in but didn't switch it on. You know, it's like a feature in a car. You haven't plugged it in.
Yeah, I mean, it was the stat you'd always leave at 0, basically, because you don't need charisma in a world without any other fucking people. I think it did affect
maybe when
your
you
interactions.
Met another player,
yeah. it could affect
maybe when you met
interactions.
another player, you could just say, "I've got a higher charisma. Can you please not kill me?"
Yeah, fuck knows. I think essentially it was the cost of items in vending machines, which is a bit weird.
Which makes no sense, yeah.
I'm a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Surely it will cost less.
Yeah. So that's
I know you say £1, but I have this 2p piece. Surely.
It's all about the caps. But anyway, I've not had a lot of time with it. It does feel like a Fallout game again. So the first, I got it when it was released. I played it for a few hours and just gave up in despair. It wasn't what it was. I am going to stick with it a bit, and I'll probably report on it a bit more next time. But yeah, it's looking interesting. If you bought it and then it's been like me, it's just sat on a shelf for a year. If you're looking for something, maybe worth a punt. I have been...
Yeah, because it's free. It's free if you already have the game, basically, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a big patch. It's all part of it.
Like an entire game that they finally finished or got some way towards being releasable.
Yeah, they finally got round to making the characters, the people in the empty world that they released. So that's that bit. I reinstalled Assassin's Creed Odyssey because someone else I know has been playing it and it rekindled some memories, and I realised I never finished the final bit of DLC. So I've been exploring a mythical island of the dead gods. I've crossed the ferryman's rivers and whatever it is, and I'm down in there, and that's all right. It's quite interesting. I can't seem to get into it.
Is that the fate of Atlantis?
Yeah.
Is that the fate of Atlantis?
Yeah,
one?
so I'm on part 1. I reckon it'll probably open up when I get past part 1, but I'm just struggling. I know there's something, I need something out there that's new. Maybe it's Final Fantasy, but almost it's too... I think if I go and pay full price and I don't find it incredible, I'll be disappointed. Yeah. Whereas if I wait, I might enjoy it. So yeah, I'm just... I'm in a bit of a gaming rut.
Well, I've finally got round to playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I've got some thoughts I would like to share.
You lucky bastard. I'd love to have started that again with no memory of it.
Here we go.
So I've been quietly anticipating getting round to this finally. I'm glad I have this game for the lockdown because it's making it so much easier. This series has, I've stuck with it doggedly, and I've seen it through all of its iterations. I've even kept up with like the sort of real out of the animus storylines and all that. I've always liked this series since it first came out, but I admit it's had its problems, and that's why it's taken me a long while to get round to
this.
Talking
of problems, did you actually finish Unity?
Yeah.
You fucking masochist. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, but with with that one, I definitely just did like the straight path all the way through it. But it's very difficult to do that in Odyssey because there isn't any side content. It's all, there is, but it's all so well integrated that it's not really obvious for a while that it is. Because even if it's just a go and kill him quest, it's got fully voiced dialogue by an actor telling you to do something. So, that's mind-boggling how much, content they have just devised to do that. I mean, it's similar to, I suppose, the ambition of the new Watch Dogs to have that populated by millions of people. But having played this, it gives me more faith that something like that is possible.
Well, there was news about that I saw today. Certainly the rumours is that it's now going to basically be a next-gen launch game. Whenever next-gen actually appears. So,
well, that makes sense to me. But I would say that of pretty much all of the big Ubi stuff that's on the horizon.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see where that goes. But quite frankly, I'm starting to wonder if I just wait, as I say, with CDPR's next venture. If the PlayStation 5 comes out this year, that's what I'm playing anything else new on from now. Anyway, sorry. Odyssey.
Well, yeah. I'm playing as Cassandra, took the recommendation. I also took the recommendation to play it on hard. and also to go down the assassin tree.
It rocks, doesn't
which
it?
has been very gratifying. Yes. Especially once you get the assassin thing and you can kill one guy. Oh, haven't quite taken him down. I'll take this guy out. Oh, okay. And then I'll go back to him and finish him off. And the hero strike is awesome. And then when you get into the naval combat, which I agree isn't quite as visceral as Black Flag because of the reduced firepower.
Arrows are not as good as cannon.
No. But the Sparta kick is like you said, specifically designed for kicking people off of boats.
Or
so
the top
I've been
of
having
cliffs.
a lot of fun with that.
The other time that's satisfying is when you've climbed up a building and you come up behind a sentry and you just Sparta kick him off the ramparts.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I sort of based my build as an assassin. I respect and drop the poison, but then because I was doing well later on, I then got all of the bits of the assassin armor, and so then I've put points back into the poison because you just get such a damage boost off that. But I've also massively invested in the warrior skills as well. The hunter stuff, like the bow and arrow, I don't have anything in. In fact, I went to pull my bow and arrow the other day and I'd run out of arrows. And I didn't realise that for about 10 hours. That's how little I used them.
What you'll find when you get towards the end game and you're in the sort of level 40 or so area, you've got enough skill points, and if you've been unlocking the little tablet things that give you an extra skill point, you've got enough that you'll essentially max out all 3 trees anyway. Some of the hunter stuff's quite cool. It's nice having a pet bear. But
oh right, yeah, I haven't even looked at the hunter trees really.
The only skill I particularly like is basically if you knock out an animal, you can then tame it. So, like, you get the mercenaries will be walking around and they'll have a pet lion or a pet bear or something. You too can have one. Oh yeah, animal companion. Yeah. You're a ranger, dude.
Bloody hell.
Oh yeah, all right. I might have to have a look into that then because I saw like the assassin one lets you bring a merc in, and I had that for a bit and I never used it.
Yep.
But yeah, generally, it is a massive, awesome power.
You can have a pet boar. You can have a pet boar.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I might have to look into that. But it's such a big game that that you get the chance to try all these skills out and improve the ones that you use the most. But then, it's a fucking massive. I mean, honestly, on the scale. I think it's definitely comparable to Skyrim or Witcher 3.
Easy. Yep.
But I think because to date, my favourite game of all time has been The Witcher 3, but there's a number of things that Odyssey does better. One is the combat. 2 is the skill trees. And then 3 is this overarching conspiracy that basically ties into every element of the game.
The cultists, yes.
Yes. And also, the other thing I love about it is that it's not just run to the waypoint, talk to the person, run to the waypoint, kill some things. Most of the quests give you a rough area in which to head, and admittedly, you have all the tools at your disposal to find what you want. To get through the game. I've never felt stuck. But it's just a little bit obscure sometimes with like the information it hands out. And so it makes you dig a bit deeper into the world and it makes it feel more like a pen and paper game.
That's it. I don't know if you remember when you started the game, it gave you that choice. It said, do you want to play it in Explorer mode, where it will say, well, yeah, the target is in an abandoned mine in this part of this nation, or do you want us to just like mark it on your map?
Yeah, well, I took the advice of the game, which said we have built this game like this is the way we intend you to play it, and that's been really, really, really awesome. I've so enjoyed that. And there's other weird things like. I was in a town and I went to the blacksmith just to sell a load of junk, and it said
don't sell it. Dismantle it. You'll need those materials later.
Oh, okay. What? Dismantle?
Yeah, dismantle all your weapons and armour. Don't bother selling anything. You get enough gold.
How'd you do that?
Go in the inventory and there's a button that lets you dismantle it and you get wood and leather and gems and stuff.
Oh, I didn't realise you could do that. Fuck. Because I've been running around. I mean, I run to the blacksmiths and I buy it because I was really struggling to upgrade my ship.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's why I was struggling a bit. Yeah. But there's some stuff I don't think you can get. There's some, like, I think the wood, like, the best way of getting wood is to smash up ships.
No, it's to scrap bows.
Oh. Okay, well, I've learned something tonight then. This was definitely worth doing. But anyway, I mean,
at least. Not anyone listening.
Yeah, no, because, like, I really need to, I've got, like, all this gold stuff and I need to upgrade it. So, that's probably how I need to do that then.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, getting a bit lost in the weeds.
You also started Disco Elysium, if I recall.
We can go there. I've pretty much said all I need to say about Odyssey, I think. But I am loving it, absolutely. And it's not a game I really want to end soon, but I'm on, like, chapter 7.
It goes... what level are you at, Rob?
I'm level 28 or 29.
Well, you're less than halfway through. I was level 50-something, and the levelling up slows down. I was level 56 when I finished this. I think you finish off at about level 50, and you need to be at that level to finish the game. So you've got plenty of time, mate. Yeah,
I think it may well end up being my lockdown game if the rumours of a 12-week situation are to be believed. It's probably going to last me the entire lockdown.
Well, I guess me and Rob are going to be busy until we can see Civilization again.
I really need to find something.
On top of this, I've still got God of War to start.
Oh, shitting fuck. And you've still not played Horizon Zero Dawn.
No. And if things get really desperate, I've got Red Dead Redemption, which will see me through to the end of the coronavirus because it's so fucking long.
That game will last you the rest of your life, Marcus, so, yeah.
There'll be Corona 52 by the time that's finished.
The thing is, Red Dead wasn't a bad game, and if I wasn't in a rush, that'd be fine. You've got a list of... Yeah, I don't know what to play.
God of War is next on my list after Final Fantasy 7. God of War is next.
Nice.
Yeah, I just want to mention, really, like, it's basically Odyssey. I've been playing other things, which I'll get to in a bit, but Assassin's Creed Odyssey for single player, and then Divinity 2 for like a bi-weekly, twice a week session with 3 pals has been awesome. Like, I mean, that's basically like playing Dungeons and Dragons like we do on a Sunday night, but in a game. Yeah. It's a little annoying. The only frustrations I have, and it's probably because of the way I'm playing it, basically, if you want to understand anything that's going on, you have to make sure that you're talking to the NPCs at the same time everyone else is. You basically have to listen in. Otherwise, you're just running around from one fight to the next, which is a little bit... It's fine, because the combat is enough of a draw anyway. Like, I don't care. Like, we'll have nights where someone will go... Because a few of them are playing it solo as well, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we went round here, and there's something round here to look at." But I do get a little bit annoyed when we're going down a path and someone's like, "We're going to be ambushed," and it's like, "Oh really? For fuck's sake!" Like, I don't need to know that. Fucking hell! Like, so
that's like
it is
the
a bit
bastard
annoying.
in the cinema who's seen the film before as well, and he just sits there going,
this is a good bit.
Yeah, he's about to die. He is. Watch this.
Yeah, so I am missing a bit of that. From that experience, but mostly and that's not my fault, and I'm not in control of it, because people are so enamored with the game that they decide to go home and play it and go past where we are, and it always used to fuck me off.
Yeah, but they don't need to spoil it.
No, I know, but it's like, oh, we need to do it. Yeah, I know, exactly. I've said it. It's got to points some nights where I've just gone, please, I don't want to fucking know. Like, I'm playing this for the first time. I don't need you to tell me everything that's about to happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going through it, and it's like a very much like, it's like watching a film with the director's commentary on all the time,
Yeah.
But there's still enough fun there to justify it. And so what I'm not getting out of the game as a solo experience, I'm gaining as a sort of social experience. So it serves that purpose very well as well. So yeah. Cool. Anyway, yeah, so glad to be playing Divinity 2. These are the two games, this and Odyssey, have been like those two gigantic 100-hour games that I've had in my backlog. Never thought I'd ever get round to, or, thought it would take me ages to get round to or finish. And now is the perfect time to be playing them. So quite happy about that. As well, though, if you'll let me continue, I have played a bit of Disco Elysium.
There we go.
Which won heavily at the BAFTAs recently, which this year we were unable to attend, as was everybody else. So, we didn't miss much. So I thought, because it won, I thought I would give this game a go. The other one that won a lot was The Outer Wilds, which, not to be confused with the game that me and Will have played.
That does get confusing for me.
Yeah, I read it. I think I was listening to something with a interview with. Oh no, it was the making of Outer Worlds. And they were saying, "Did you realise about that other game coming out?" And they were like, "Yeah, well, we didn't know at the time. Like, we didn't even know that game was around."
Outer Worlds came a month or two before the Outer Worlds. It was just a thing.
Coincidence. But anyway, Disco Elysium is a weird game. Such a weird game. And that's what intrigued me and made me want to play it. I picked it up at a slight discount the week of the BAFTAs on Steam. I've just been playing it on the PC. Haven't been able to run it at full whack because it does actually have some fairly demanding system requirements for a game that it is. And that's mostly just because of the way it's presented. I mean, it's a top-down isometric game. It's basically a role-playing game, but you wake up, there's nothing on the screen apart from text at the beginning, and you basically have this sort of, it's like your inner conscience talking to you. What a fucking mess you are. What are you going to deal with now? And so you basically go through some dialogue and wake up in a pile of your own sick with your pants down.
We've all been there.
Yeah. And so you start off with like people are talking at you and calling you like detective, and you're like, why do you keep calling me a detective? It's like you have some massive amnesia, you don't know what your name is or what you do for a living, and then like you get down to the edge in this hotel, and then this other cop turns up and goes, "Oh yes, I was arranged to meet you. I arranged to meet you. I'm the other cop working on this case," and he's all prim and proper, and so he's like a foil to your utter fucking disaster zone. I mean, this has dialogue choices which basically range from, I should probably tell him I don't know what I'm doing to fucking kill yourself. And there's no combat. It's like a detective game. But when in character generation, there's like a matrix of all these different sorts of character personality traits, and you can choose one to sort of focus in. I went for the one that's all like drugs, basically, chemical something, and you every item you pick up has different like pluses and minuses to those things. Like, so the clothes you wear might, give off a certain different vibe. But you learn things and you can plug in these thoughts, and over time they give you bonuses. And, so far it feels like more of a point and click adventure where you're talking to people, but with big dialogue stuff and, no real roadblocks, no obtuse puzzles, but just a very interesting way to deliver a really fucked up story. I've got a quest. One of the first quests you get is, I really need to buy some fags and smoke them. And I still have that in my inventory, and I still haven't found any. But it's constantly on my mind. I'm like, I really need to buy some fags.
I must admit, I know it's coming out. It's coming out on consoles, or it's out on consoles. But it's specifically, it was announced quite recently that it's coming out on the Switch, and that feels to me like a perfect murderer of commutes. So when the world is back to normal and that is released on Switch, that's a definite for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm probably going to play a bit of it tonight because I'm already sat at my computer. Mm-hmm. So, I might switch that. I played it for about 5 or 6 hours, but it's quite a relaxing game, and some of the dialogue is absolutely hilarious. Like, there's this guy when you go downstairs and you go to the bar, and it's like you go to the bar, it's like, and like the way that the dialogue's written, it's like, are you a waiter? And it's like, what the do I look like a waiter? It's like it's just so deadpan. And the range of options, because the thing is, your brain keeps talking to you, but it's not just your brain; it's all those skills that you have to choose. It comes up with like, streetwise.
The skills are personality traits, essentially, aren't they?
Yeah, all of the skills are personalities that talk to you, and you'll get checks that you'll have to roll, and you'll fuck them up. But they're called white checks, and those white checks, they're listed. So you have a list there of of things that you can try again when your skills are a bit better. But every time you level up, you get to put a point in a different skill. But I just like it. I'm always interested in like role playing games, but with like applied to like a more contemporary setting.
Yeah, not that many swords.
Yeah, just like let's just chill out and talk our way through this. But this is like, like, so in Fallout, like, this is if you put your charisma stat really high, and just play all of that, but it's in incredible detail, so that every little facet of your personality you can put little points in. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really digging it. It's really fun and really funny.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I can see where it got all the awards.
Yeah,
from.
I'm looking at the site now on the game. I like this bit where it goes, real role playing. Words have meaning, actions matter.
Yeah, it's a totally weird setting as well. It's like our world, but not quite. It's like, is it Europe? Not really. So it's in the future, but how far? So you can't really put your finger on it.
No.
So it's true. It's wholly original.
It's just familiar enough, but not, isn't it? It's just...
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really, I've not come up against any like difficult puzzles or it's just really, really enjoyable, and yeah, I'm probably going to play a bit more of it tonight, I think.
Nice. Oh my god, I love the description. If you don't mind, Disco Elysium is a groundbreaking role-playing game. You're a detective with a unique skill system at your disposal, easier said than others, and a whole city block to carve your path through, interrogate unforgettable characters, crack murders, or take bribes, become a hero, or an absolute disaster of a human being.
Yeah, that's basically it, yeah. There's a lot of that.
I'd do.
I love that.
Yeah, I was speaking to some Nazi on a bridge, and he was giving me all his massive, like, jingoistic lingo, and I was like, oh man, I just want to get over the bridge, fuck's sake.
Brilliant.
But yeah, it's really quite cool. What was I going to say? I was going to mention one more thing about it. Yeah, I don't know, but it's quite easy to die, like just by sort of like rooting through objects and then uncovering an old photo, and then you just spiral into like a horrible blackness, and it's like game over.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
that's pretty
anyone got anything else? I mean, I think I've mentioned most of it.
No, I'm hoping that next time we record, I will have found my happiness in the gaming world, and we shall see what it'll be. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep churning through PlayStation Now, see if there's anything good there. But it's just not grabbing me. Control hasn't worked. Control hasn't done it. Uncharted Lost Legacy hasn't done it.
Really?
There's something wrong with me. I can't find. Are you just like these games? These games are too puny. Like you just can't get lost in them or something. I think it may be that. I don't really know, but yeah, something will get its teeth in.
I do just want to quickly mention Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I meant to do it last time in a timely fashion because that's when it was out, and I tried it because I got the Xbox Game Pass, and I'm playing through that a little bit. It's again, if you played the first one, it's that again. but with a bit more on the combat side. But again, a lovely game if you like your 2D platformers. It's one of the most gorgeous looking games out there. Like the way they use the depth of field. You know, you'll be going along and you'll just get to like an open area and you'll realise there's all this like massive parallax scenery stretching off into the distance, and then the camera will just pan into it and there's like a big cutscene or something will appear. And it's one of those games where you do not realise how much is going on under the hood, and then it's like, whoa, fuck.
It's got a touch of magic about it, hasn't it?
It's a bit sort of Disney
Ghibli or something, isn't it? A bit weird and a bit sort of, you know, you feel like you're a part of something when you're playing it. Yeah, I remember that from the first one, but I haven't played this one yet.
I remember hearing about the first game that it was worked on completely remotely. So everyone was just working from home and sharing things and stuff.
Good practice.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird it's amazing what's possible remotely these days, as in like entire civilization now, almost.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Not Playing Podcast, part of the Not Listening Podcast Network, where you can also find the Not Watching Podcast, where me and Marcus talk about movies and TV, and the Not Listening Podcast, where you can sometimes hear Adam and Co. talk about all kinds of nonsensical nonsense. You can email us at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes for all our shows at notlistening.co.uk, and if you like what you've heard here, please do leave us a review. Anyway, that's all, folks. See ya!
I suck at Call of Duty. I suck at Call of Duty.
But anyway, how are people coping with the lockdown? We're like 6 weeks in now.
I'm all right. To be honest, I've got more than enough. I've got like gaming news and stuff I catch up on. I used to watch the news really sort of feverishly, not literally because that would be scary. But I used to be like, you know, wanting to know what's going on. But now we kind of just catch up. We catch it in the morning or something if we can, and then they're
doing the daily updates. I've not been watching every one, and to be honest, they are repeating a lot of old shit. They'll have someone in there from the army.
They've kind
or
of
the
run out
hospital
of things to really say now, because now people are like, "Oh, you still haven't sorted that out," and they're like, "Well, it's coming." And then the next day, we still haven't sorted it out. Oh, it's coming. So it's getting to the same old. I don't like the talk of people wanting to have the lockdown eased up already, because I think it's a bit ridiculous.
Well, if they do it, they're putting themselves in danger of a second spike.
But that's the problem. I don't want them taking everything down with them.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like idiots scrambling for the lifeboat and then they sink it. You don't want that.
No.
But yeah, no, to be honest, I'm happy because it's got me gaming again. It's got me enjoying films. We've been watching sort of films and stuff and catching up on TV and bits and pieces. So yeah, it's not too bad. And the weather's been weirdly amazing.
It has been very good.
It's
right. Since we've stopped talking about gaming, I guess we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah.
All right. I'll do the outro later. It's fine.
Cool. Right, I will pause or stop even.
Yeah. Same here, actually.